I recently came up with a new term, and I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but you're going to love it. But before I reveal what the term is, I kind of have to give you a little bit insight into what my life has been up to these past couple of months. Hello, and welcome to Fail to Win, a show where we love to make mistakes and learn from them so you can turn your passion into profits and live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van der Putten from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday. I have been traveling a lot this summer. I first went to Barcelona, then I went to France, then I went to Italy, then I went to Istanbul, Bodrum, then I went to Los Angeles. No wonder I've been a bit tired actually after all of that travel. And I really loved all of those things. Istanbul was because my brother is getting married and they had a shared party situation there. We spent a lot of time together, which I love because business freedom is so important to me. And a couple of other things like France actually and LA were because I was attending some new business coaching things like a retreat, VIP coaching day, and all of that. I had a really great time. The VIP coaching day was with Natalie Ellis from Boss Babe, and then the retreat was a part of the mastermind I'm in, which is actually with Danielle Canty, maybe some names you know. And I learned so much. But the thing is, I also didn't learn a lot. I learned about a couple of new things that have really opened my eyes for the future. I just love learning. This is probably also why you are here, because you're also someone who wants to keep growing. But what I also learned is that there are a lot of things I already know, but I am not doing them. And I'll give you a little example. I know that when I start a podcast episode, I need to talk about feelings more than I talk about solutions. Yet I still talk a lot about solutions. I know that I should be making more reels than stories, yet I am still making a lot of stories because they're easy to me and not as many reels that can go viral. But if I don't make reels that can go viral, I can't go viral. This is one of those things that people have. They're like, why haven't I gone viral yet after not posting any content that can go viral? This is a toxic trait. A toxic trait is checking if you've already gone viral, but you actually haven't posted anything that could go viral. That is toxic. That is like, what is that? Like red flag, beige flag? I don't know, the flag situation online. I'm getting too old for it. What is the beige flag? You're boring. And the red flag is toxic. Annelies knows this.
The beige flag is a good sign.
Okay, beige flag is a good sign. I don't have any beige flags. Pop quiz, if you're listening to the podcast this week, what is your beige flag? It sounds sexual as well. Just me? No? Someone? What could a beige flag in bed be? Being boring in bed is definitely an option. Just me losing myself in this episode. But so do you recognize that there are a couple of things that you know, yet you aren't doing them? If this goes on and on and on for years on end, you get wildly disappointed in yourself. But my name is FastForwardAmy, so for me, it doesn't take years to be annoyed. It just takes me maybe a couple of months before I have had it with myself and I force myself to level the fuck up. And the same goes for my clients. And I always start my coaching sessions with my clients saying, I want you to open yourself up. This is for any program we have in the Fast Forward Academy. By the way, if you ever have any questions about my programs, just send me a DM or email my team or go and have a look on the website, fastforwardamy.com. But so I always tell my clients, what do you know but aren't you doing? And what do you don't know? But people get into a coaching program thinking I'm going to learn so much. And they learn a lot. But the biggest thing people learn in the Fast Forward Academy, and that I am still learning every day from my own coachings, is not new information. It is how to actually do the thing you know you need to be doing. And this is what I like to call the action gap. The action gap is the difference between what you know and what you do. And if you leave too big of a gap between knowing and doing for too long of a time, you're going to get really sad, disappointed, and frustrated. And I just wanted to make this short episode for you to talk to you about, hey, can you feel an action gap? Where is it hurting? What do you know? For example, for me, I know I need to make content that focuses on growth to get new leads in. Yet, I sometimes will just not do it because I don't have time or whatever. My team and I were just talking about the fact that we are quite funny together and we have a lot of fun on content days, but we don't have content days. We have days where we kind of like shove some content in the calendar and then we make some sales reels and then we're like, why haven't we gone viral? Because we haven't made content that can go viral. So we know, the three of us, Megan, Annalise, and I, that we need to plan in a day to create growth content and to be super creative and to have nothing else on our calendar, that we can literally get in the car and go and do stupid shit to get it on video. We know that. But what we haven't done in the past 6 months is actually plan in a moment to do that and prioritize it. So for us, there's an action gap. We think, why aren't we making growth content? It's because we've missed the first step. So my thing for you today isn't to give you a guilt feeling about all of the things you haven't done. No, my trick is, if you have an action gap, my first question is there an action gap? If so, where? This could be healthy eating. Let's say you know you need to eat healthily. This is a great example, right? Good example. I'm just looking at Megan. She's like, yeah. You need to eat food healthily, but you don't have any food. So you're actually ordering takeout late at night because you don't have time, or the store is closed, or you just don't have the willpower to cook. Okay, so the action gap is, you know that you need to eat healthy foods, but you aren't doing it. We can't out-will this. We can't say, okay, so do it anyways. Because at the end of the day, our brain is just, the brain power has gone down. You know, when you play Mario on the Nintendo, I used to play a lot. I used to like get my brother's Nintendo's Game Boy, that's what I wanted to say. And then you're playing and Mario is like bumping on the toads and running towards the dragon, slaying, I don't know, whatever is happening. And if you get hit a couple of times, your battery goes down, right? This would be a really great reel that can go viral, actually. Scratch that. This is the growth content we need. You'll see, we're going to make a video like that from this clip. So Mario is just like running, bump in the head. And by the time he gets to the end boss, he doesn't have a lot of battery life yet. Luckily, we have a couple of lives saved up and we can tap into those and level up, and we can play the end boss until we actually defeat him, and then we can go to like a newer level or something. I think the same goes for us. What just happens is that we are not a video game, so we can't be like, yes, give me another level up toad for a new life. There are no level up toads. We have one day. Every day we only get 24 hours. We have one day. We have one battery of brain power, and we can't recharge it. I mean, we can sleep better. We can go for walks and all of that. But what we need to do is we need to get skilled better, just like you need to get better at like fighting the end boss. We need to know, like, okay, we shouldn't go left in that street. We need to do something else. We shouldn't end our day super late and then expect to be able to cook. No, we need to plan. So if you have an action gap between knowing and doing, we're not going to outwill it because your battery just goes down at the end of the day. What we're going to do is, when we do have brain power, we're going to take one step so that we can get closer, and we're going to make the gap smaller. So for me, for example, this is eating. My team laughs at this. I don't know how it happens. I used to be the person who would never forget to eat, but I have become that person who forgets to eat. So there was a huge action gap between me being a person who is focused on healthy eating and who used to be a fitness coach, and then showing up and forgetting to eat for an entire day. So what I did is I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to change everything, but I can do two things. One is we can create a company-wide hard stop in the calendar between 1 and 2, we eat. That's the lunch break. And sometimes my team will make me, and they're like, you know you need to eat, right? Not enough of a fix yet, but for me it already helped that was making it easier for me to take the action, that we weren't having meetings run late, start earlier. We don't plan in anything ever between 1 and 2, actually. No lives, nothing. The next thing for me is I can't cook healthy food if I don't have the ingredients. But once I am done, sometimes like I'll travel a lot, like I just said, I'll come home and there is no food. There's no way I can cook the healthy food. So I started making a weekly task for myself where I order groceries. And every week I do it, rain or shine, if there's food or no food. I just order the stuff I always order. And then it will get delivered on the day I know I am home. When there is healthy food, then I have a couple of go-to recipes. And on Mondays, I know I have a much clearer head. And on Mondays, I cook. My boyfriend and I have this deal like, okay, we just cook. What I'll do is I'll just triple the batch. Because I know on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, I do not give a fuck. And I can't be bothered to cook. I am just doing other stuff. I don't mind eating the same stuff. So what I've done is I have just created salmon in like these oven things. And I'll just eat salmon Wednesday night and Thursday midday. And I just make the same thing every week. Because otherwise, I will have an action gap. If I need to think about what I'm going to eat, it's not going to work. So what you can do and what I suggest you do, if you feel you have an action gap, we're going to close the gap by making it so that you are going to make something simpler or more clear. Either you're going to plan something in, or you are just going to make the whole action simpler. I know it would be great if I would be cooking healthy meals every night or diversifying the food intake, but I'm not gonna. I know I'm not gonna do it. So right now, by meal prepping the same thing every week, I don't have an action gap anymore because it's the easiest thing for me to go and get that. The same thing could go for my socials. If I'm always worried about the fact that I'm not creating growth content, or maybe you are, maybe stop thinking I'm going to figure out new growth content and I'm just going to do one thing every day. A lot of people struggle with making stories, especially people with brick and mortar businesses. I'll always tell my hairdresser, I'm like, you don't have to make stories all day. You don't have to make reels all day. Just every day. When you walk into your salon, make a video. Hey, we're open. Hey, we're open. Hey, we're open. Simplify what you are doing so your action gap gets smaller. That is my to-do for you today. I don't know if this was a shit episode or a great episode. Megan is saying great, or maybe thumbs up is shit. I don't know, but I think she meant it was a really great episode. There's a ton of other examples I can give you, but I am not your consultant or your mom. You are a big girl or boy and you can figure it out. But just remember this, if you aren't doing what you know you need to do and you haven't done it for the past 3 days, do you think it's gonna work to keep on wanting to do it? What I mean by that is actually, let's say you have decided you're gonna wake up at 6:30 every day and it's now Thursday and you haven't done it on Monday. You turned off your alarm clock, you stayed in bed. You didn't do it on Tuesday. You didn't do it on Wednesday. Are we going to hope that you're going to do it tomorrow? No, you're not going to do it. There's an action gap between you wanting to wake up at 6:30, but you are not doing it. There are two things now that we can do. We can change the decision. We can say, okay, we're just not going to do it. We're just going to sleep longer. Nice. Better sleep, better brain power. Or we can say, we're going to hack you. So you start doing it. So what I did, for example, is, and I'm not always a total bitch to myself, even though that kind of looks like this, but what I did is, I took my alarm clock and I put it at the other end of my room. And now when it goes off, because at night I make a conscious decision, I know I need to wake up at that time because that is my plan for the day. In the morning, I'll tend to kind of like negotiate with myself, but I've hacked it. Now I need to get up to go and turn off the alarm clock, and I literally can't negotiate with myself anymore because I've just hacked the system. So having an action gap is okay. Make sure you simplify and close the gap with a couple of small steps, and that is how we fast forward. And that is it for today. Hope you loved this episode. Remember that you can always find more information about the podcast and anything else on the website. If you go to fastforwardamy.com/podcast, yeah, there's a couple of articles there. Every episode has an article. And yeah, let me know. I made this term myself. I literally came up with it yesterday. Haven't actually Googled it if it exists or if anyone else has made anything about it. So I might have stolen it subconsciously from someone. I am sure this term will exist, but yeah, I need to stop talking. Remember, knowledge is not power, action is power. Bye.